In a medium saucepan, combine 4 cups of water, 4 cinnamon apple herbal tea bags, 1 teaspoon of dry pumpkin spice mix, then bring the mixture to a full boil. Boil for at least 3 minutes. Turn off the heat and let the mixture steep for about 5 minutes so the flavor can set in. Pour about 50 grams or around 1/4 cup of the granulated sugar substitute of your choice, or you can use brown sugar substitute. I'm using brown monk fruit sweetener. Pour it into a heat-safe container. Remove the tea bags from the saucepan. Pour the tea into the container over the sugar substitute that you're using. Add up to 1 tablespoon of apple extract. Stir everything together until the sugar substitute is fully dissolved. You can adjust the flavors and the sweetness according to your personal taste. Measure out 2 ounces of the apple cider substitute and set it aside for a minute. You can drink the rest warm, or you can allow it to cool to room temperature and chill it in your refrigerator and drink it later. In a large mixing bowl, sift together 85 grams or around 3/4 cup of coconut flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 9 grams or around 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 56 grams or around 1/3 cup of the brown sugar substitute of your choice. I'm using brown monk fruit sweetener. 34 grams or around 3 tablespoons of the granulated sugar substitute of your choice. I'm using granulated monk fruit sweetener. 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. You can adjust or change these spices to your taste. Add 2 grams or around a 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. If you don't want to use xanthan gum, you can use around a teaspoon of psyllium husk powder. But if you use psyllium husk powder instead of xanthan gum, before you add the wet ingredients, you need to mix the psyllium husk powder together with about 2 ounces of warm water. Then let it sit for about 5 minutes or until it gels up a little bit. Then you're going to add it when we add the wet ingredients. Sift the dry ingredients all together until there are no lumps. Stir in 4 large room temperature eggs, 3/4 cup of room temperature softened butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, a 1/2 teaspoon of maple extract, up to 1 tablespoon of apple extract, according to how much of an apple taste you want in your donuts, 2 ounces or around 1/4 cup of plain Greek yogurt. And if you're using the psyllium husk powder mixture instead of xanthan gum, you would add this now. Then add the 2 ounces of reserved warm keto apple cider substitute. Stir everything together until a smooth dough forms. Divide the dough evenly and smoothly throughout 8 lightly greased donut molds. Place the donut molds in your preheated oven. Bake at 350 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes or until golden and a tester comes out clean. Once the donuts are done baking, remove them from the oven. Allow them to cool in the pan for about 15 to 20 minutes or until they're firm enough to remove. After the donuts have firmed up, remove them from the molds, then transfer them to a wire rack. For the topping, melt 1/4 cup of butter and allow it to cool slightly, then set it aside. In a small separate bowl, stir together 50 grams or around 1/4 cup of the brown sugar substitute of your choice. I'm using brown monk fruit. And 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Stir them together until there are no lumps. Brush the tops of each one of the donuts with some of the melted butter. Then sprinkle your desired amount of the sugar substitute mixture over the melted butter. If you want to, you can coat the entire donut with the melted butter and the sugar substitute mix. I just want a little bit of sweetness to it, so I'm just doing over the top. Once the donuts are coated, you can serve these immediately.